My name is Robert. I'm 80 years old, and I've been sitting with something for a very long time. I don't know why I'm saying this now. Maybe because time feels different when you know there's less of it. Maybe because I've carried it long enough that it doesn't feel like mine anymore. It feels like something I'm just holding for someone else, for her. I forgave my wife a long time ago, but I never told her I knew, and now she's gone.
I married Eleanor in 1967. I was 23, she was 21. We met at a church social, though neither of us were particularly religious. She had this way of laughing that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. I fell in love with that laugh before I even learned her middle name. We built a life, a small house, 2 kids, a mortgage, Sunday dinners, all the things people do when they think they have forever. And for a long time, I thought we did. It was 1984 when I first noticed. Small things, nothing you could point to and say, there, that's it. Just shifts. She started wearing perfume on Thursdays. She'd always hated perfume, said it gave her headaches, but suddenly Thursdays smelled like jasmine. She'd come home a little later than usual, not late enough to ask about, just later. Then she started looking at me differently, not unkindly, just distantly, like I was someone she used to know very well and was now trying to remember. I didn't say anything. I told myself I was imagining it, that marriage goes through phases, that after 17 years people change. And they do, that's true. But this was different. One Thursday in June, I came home early. My back had been bothering me, and my boss told me to take the afternoon. I pulled into the driveway and saw a car I didn't recognize, parked 2 houses down. I sat there for a minute, engine off, just looking at that car. Then I went inside. Eleanor was in the kitchen. She startled when she saw me, just for a second. Then she smiled and asked if I wanted tea. I said yes. We sat at the table and talked about the weather. I didn't ask about the car. I should tell you, I wasn't afraid of confrontation. I wasn't scared of the truth. That's not why I stayed quiet. I stayed quiet because I loved her. And I knew that if I asked, everything would change. Not just between us, everything. The kids, the house, the life we'd built, all of it would fracture into before and after. So I chose not to ask. I chose to forgive her without ever making her confess.
The next few months were strange. I started noticing more. A receipt in her coat pocket from a restaurant we'd never been to. A phone call she took in the other room. The way she'd check her reflection before leaving the house on Thursdays. And I'd watch her. Not suspiciously, not with anger. Just watch. She'd hum sometimes while doing the dishes, soft, distracted humming, like her mind was somewhere else, someone else, and I'd dry the plates and say nothing. There was a part of me that wanted to confront her, to lay it all out, to ask her why, to ask her if she still loved me, to ask her what I'd done wrong, but I never did. Because I realized something. I realized that whatever was happening, it wasn't about me. It sounds strange to say that. Most people would say, of course it's about you, she's your wife, and maybe that's true in some way. But when I really looked at her, really saw her, I realized she wasn't running toward someone else. She was running away from something inside herself. Eleanor had always been the kind of woman who put everyone else first. She raised our kids, she kept the house, she smiled at church socials and baked for school fundraisers and asked how my day was, even when hers had been hard. And somewhere along the way, she disappeared into all of that. I think she was trying to find herself again, and maybe, for a little while, someone made her feel seen. I don't know who he was. I never asked. I never wanted to know. But I know he wasn't the villain, and neither was she. She was just lost, and I couldn't help her find her way back by dragging her into the light and demanding answers. So I waited.
It ended on its own. I don't know exactly when, but sometime in early 1985, the Thursdays stopped smelling like jasmine. The phone calls stopped. The humming stopped. She came back. Not all at once, slowly, like someone waking up from a long dream. And I let her. One night, we were sitting on the porch. It was late summer. The kids were asleep. The crickets were loud. She looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." I didn't ask what for. I just said, "I know." And we sat there in the quiet. She never brought it up again, and neither did I. We lived another 34 years together after that. Good years. Hard years, years where we thought about money and worried about the kids and grew old in ways we didn't expect. But we stayed, and I never once regretted staying quiet. Because here's what I learned. Forgiveness isn't always about confrontation. Sometimes forgiveness is about choosing to love someone even when they've hurt you, even when they don't know you know. Even when you could hold it over them and demand an apology. Sometimes forgiveness is just letting it go. Not for them, for you. I carried that knowledge for 34 years, and it never once made me bitter. It never once made me love her less. If anything, it made me love her more, because I saw her, the whole of her. Not just the wife and mother and everything she was supposed to be. I saw the woman who got lost, who made a mistake, who found her way back, and I chose her anyway. Eleanor died 2 years ago, quietly, in her sleep, and I never told her I knew. I thought about it near the end, when she was sick and the days felt numbered. I thought about saying, "I forgave you a long time ago," but I didn't, because I realized it would have been for me, not for her. It would have eased my conscience, but it would have burdened hers, and she didn't deserve that. So I kept it. And now I'm telling you, not because I need you to understand, not because I need validation or advice, but because maybe you're carrying something too. Maybe there's something you know that you've never said out loud. Maybe there's someone you've forgiven without ever letting them know. And maybe that's okay. Maybe some truths are meant to be carried quietly. Maybe some love is best shown in silence. I don't know. I just know that I loved her, and that was enough. If you've stayed with me this long, thank you. I don't know what you'll take from this. Maybe nothing, maybe something. But if you've got a story like this, something you've carried, you don't have to say it out loud. You can just hold it and know you're not alone.